Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. This is JB.
And I'm Chandler, and this is the Unbiased Hard Take.
And on today's Unbiased Hard Take, it is March Madness. We got a little bit of football for you guys today. Jordan's
Very
Pittsburgh
little.
Steelers. And
Very little.
very little, because March Madness is here. Let the madness begin. The first four games began last night. So the big games start tomorrow. The last bit of the first four happened tonight. So with that, me and JB have a big basketball and a March Madness spectacular for you guys today. We are going to create our unbiased bracket. Me and JB, as you can see here, are going to go through that and create a unbiased hard take bracket. Me and JB did do individual brackets. We both picked Purdue to win the national championship. Me and JB will get into that here shortly. In our individual brackets, that is. So go check those out on Facebook. The link will be in the description down below. Check that out. However, me and JB want to start into football here, kind of get that over with, and then me and JB will continue doing our bracket for the unbiased hard take and celebrating March Madness with you guys. With that, JB, the Pittsburgh Steelers, my friend, you said you wanted a young quarterback to develop. Well, you got your quarterback. Because JB, the Steelers traded for running back. I'm sorry, quarterback Justin Fields. That was a joke. With them trading for Justin Fields, JB, they did name Russell Wilson QB1. But what's your thoughts on Justin Fields being traded from the Bears to the Pittsburgh Steelers, JB?
Well, here's how I'm looking at it. I look at it as Justin Fields as the next Cordell Stewart. He is going to be our Army Swiss knife, if I should say so. Because I think, don't quote me on this, but Mike Tomlin is going to put Justin Fields in some Cordell Stewart's special running back, receiver, running back type of plays in our new offensive scheme, which we have with our new offensive coordinator. Like I said, he was one of the top offensive coordinators for the Tennessee Titans back in the day before he got the head coach for the Atlanta Falcons, which that was not a good spot for him. He should be stayed as the offensive coordinator, which he is now our offensive coordinator. So, for that being said, since we have a young core, Omar Khan, probably one of the best GMs that in football right now, because everyone's saying that the Eagles or the Falcons is probably one of doing the best on the offseason. No. For me, the Eagles is just getting big name players that's having a mid-season. So, and I think the Steelers are one of having the best offense or off seasons that we have ever seen. Because frankly, we never do anything in the off season. We never do. But this year, it's either go big or home, and now we are going big, extremely big. And there is going to be talks where getting quite a few more weapons on the offensive side, because we got our defensive weapons. Now we just need the offense. So for that being said, I do like having Justin Fields, even though we joked about him quite a bit on this podcast, but he was a Bear. The Bears are a joke. That whole organization is a joke. But for him being as a young, talented human being for the football, he is actually pretty good. He can run. He can't read defense, hard to lick, but when he does, he makes fantastic plays. There's some dots that he's thrown that is actually a phenomenal throw. So, with him having George Pickens and him being a Cordell Stewart in our newer offensive scheme, which can't wait to see. And also Kenny Pickett, you're a baby. I'm glad you're gone, by the way. You don't want to have any competition, for that being said. So now, ever since we signed, like I said, whenever we signed Russell Wilson, you wanted out right away because you did not want to be a backup, but now you're still a backup and you're going to be a backup. And you even had a shot to be a starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers if you would have fought. But you didn't. So you're weak. So all because you didn't want to be a backup quarterback, and now look at you. You're a backup quarterback. But like I said, it's a good thing that the Steelers picked up a young quarterback that is actually have a better stat line than Kenny Pickett past few years. So like I said, our quarterback room is stacked. Just letting you know, it is stacked.
Wow. JB, man, he's totally flipped on Kenny Pickett and Fields. Wow. How how time changes things. Remember a few weeks ago you
That's
were
how the
kind of
offseason
hoping
works.
you were kind of I remember when the season ended, you were kind of you would have been okay with Mason Rudolph and Kenny Pickett battling it out.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you're moving off Kenny Pickett because of his attitude towards them signing Wilson.
Yep. And then it's all because of the fact that he even thought during this off season before the off season started with that season where he was healthy, but they still decided to go with Mason Rudolph in the playoffs, which to me it was a good decision because if he's hot, he's hot. You still got to feed the ball to the person that's already hot. Even though he had one touchdown, one interception, even though it should have been two touchdowns, but Buffalo fans decided to throw snowballs at players. So, anyways, that's for another. I'm glad that they're not in the Super Bowl, and they'll never be in the Super Bowl. Just letting you know.
They will not. They've had a horrible free agency. They have lost a lot of players, and I'll get into that. Listen, that's not the time for this conversation right now.
It is
I'll
for a
get into
different
that at a
day.
later date. Buffalo's window is closed. It's
Yep.
closing. I'll get into that on a later date. With that, JB, when I first seen this news, I laughed. I did. For the people, I texted you and was making fun of you.
Mm-hmm.
I was making fun of you. And the more I sit and think about it, it actually makes some sense. Because yes, Russell Wilson's 35 years old. He's older. Like you said, you need a quarterback who you can develop. Justin Fields can still make. He can make plays. He kind of reminds me of Terrell Pryor. Terrell Pryor was a quarterback at Ohio State. He ended up actually being a receiver and having 1,000 yards. I'm not saying that Justin Fields is going to play receiver and have 1,000 yards. I'm saying that you can run sort of like a wildcat formation for him, where sometimes he throws, sometimes he runs. He might do a little trick play, this, that, and the other. You can kind of use him as a decoy and kind of make special plays for him.
Like
That's
I
good for
said,
the
for
Steelers
Cordell
offense.
Stewart when he was a Pittsburgh Steeler, because he was a receiver, he was a running back, he was a quarterback. So that's why I think it is a good decision for Justin Fields to be on the Steelers, to have, I want to say, two starting quarterbacks on the same roster. Because Justin Fields could probably play be a starting quarterback for multiple uh, organizations. So,
Not high on Fields, you
well,
know that.
oh, I know
I,
because he was a Bear.
well, not even that. He can't read a defense. He can't concept an NFL defense. He's not accurate enough. However,
Because he did not
if he is
have
your main,
because he did not have a strong a quarterback coach. He was on the Bears. That whole entire
man,
organization is a complete joke. The coaching staff is a joke, anyways. So, with that being said, he had no room. He had no weapons or coaching staff to help him develop. So when you came to the Steelers, guess what? He has coaches and he has players to develop. Plus, he has a stronger offensive line. He has more weapons. What else does he want? So
no, I agree with you in that sense. But I just don't think he's a franchise quarterback. If he's your main quarterback, the Steelers they might as well have stuck with Kenny Pickett. But Russell Wilson's your main quarterback. You know how I feel about that move. That was a great move.
mm-hmm.
He's your main quarterback. You don't have to have Fields going out there throwing the ball 30 times. He doesn't need to.
Nope.
He can go out there, play 5 to 10 snaps a game, be in a couple packages, not play the whole game. You'll see him 5 or 10 times, and he can make a difference.
Hmm.
I think he'll make a difference in that way. But as far as being a franchise quarterback, Mason Rudolph's better than Justin Fields is,
Well, that's why I said have he has room to develop as a Pittsburgh
and he
Steeler.
does.
Because
He does.
I still say this with having Matt Canada as our offensive coordinator for the years that Kenny Pickett was. I still say that he's the reason why that Kenny Pickett has failed is because of Matt Canada and his lack of offensive knowledge. Like you might as well just throw a Madden playbook. Just for example, if for all the Madden nerds out there, I'm kind of one myself. The Eagles playbook is one of the best meta playbooks in all Madden. You might as well just he might as well just pick plays off of that and probably be 10 times more better. So I mean that's how I see it. He just picked plays off a video game. Like that's how dumb he was. But I still, to this day, it's not Kenny Pickett's fault. It's not Mason Rudolph's fault that they only had very little touchdowns. Is because of the lack of Matt Canada and the offense when he was there. I mean, we seen how Matt Canada was the week after Matt Canada was gone. He threw over 300 yards. He even yes, even though he had one touchdown. I mean, still, he's never thrown over 300 yards ever. So, and then next week he got hurt, and then Mr. Trubisky walked in, and that was a dumpster fire. I still he's the reason why we lost those 3 games. But and then Mason Rudolph came in, and he brought us back into a playoff spot. So like I said, it's all I blame all of Kenny Pickett's failure on Matt Canada. I do believe Kenny Pickett is a good quarterback. He just needs time to develop. And that time for that time that he was a Steeler, that's the reason why. But for him not to battle for a starting spot sickens me. That is one of the worst ways to go out. So, you know what? All props to you. I mean, you'll probably never get get another snap ever as a Philadelphia Eagle unless Jalen Hurts gets hurt. Then that'll be your time to shine. But have fun in Philadelphia.
He's the clear backup there. And I mean, I agree with you that Matt Canada definitely didn't help Kenny Pickett, but of course, I don't think Kenny Pickett was the answer. I think Russell Wilson was an absolutely great signing. And because they have Russell Wilson and Fields doesn't have to be out there throwing 20, 30 times a game,
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good move for Pittsburgh. You guys have Najee
And
Harris,
only
a 1,000 yard
getting him for 1.2 million. Mm-hmm. That is a
bingo.
steal and a half.
Bingo. And you got Najee Harris, who's an 1,000 yard rusher. George
Jalen
Pickens, you have
Warren
a decent offensive line, and you guys just stole Patrick Queen from the Ravens. So you got Patrick back there in the defensive backs. I mean,
and
with the linebacker core with
and
T.J. Watt.
Deontay Johnson is gone. Thank God he is gone. But we also got Dante Johnson from the Panthers, which he's a good corner. Not a lockdown corner, but he's a good corner when he wants to be. So we got, other than, Joey Porter Jr. being out there, is be our only corner. I mean, at least we got him, and we got Deshaun Elliott, so our defense is now stacked. So now Minka Fitzpatrick can actually roam around the field as he pleases, and others have been standing in one spot. So then that's where Minka has lacked for injury too, but for him being an amazing Pro Bowl player how he is, he roams the field, and now he can actually roam the field with signing when we signed Deshaun Elliott.
And absolutely. Because now you definitely got the linebackers shored up with Patrick Queen and TJ Watt back there in the
Hmm.
linebacker core.
And Alex
So
Highsmith.
Pittsburgh had yes. So Pittsburgh's had a good offseason. So I think Fields is a good move because he's not a full-time quarterback.
Hmm.
It wasn't a 1,000-yard rusher with the Bears. It's a thing. So that's our take on it. It sounds like me and JB agree, but for different reasons. JB sounds like more of a Kenny Pickett issue.
Yep, I was all on board. I mean, I would have been okay if we had Russell Wilson, Kenny Pickett, and Justin Fields. But for him, right when we get signed to Justin, or right when we signed Russell Wilson, he wanted out right away. So, I mean, to me, that is just a baby move, in my opinion. So, for the all of love I had for Kenny Pickett, because I just wanted to see him just one more season on a brand new offensive coordinator, and he doesn't get that shot. So, see ya. Don't want to be ya. Don't come back. Because you know what
Hey,
happens when we trade players off to different teams? Guess what happens? Their career falls to the ground. For example, Antonio Brown, he fell to the ground. Even though he won a Super Bowl. But guess what? He fell to the ground. Le'Veon Bell fell to the ground. Let's see who else. Chase Claypool fell to the ground, and just a handful of others.
Santonio Holmes.
And Santonio Holmes. Ever since he left the Steelers because he wanted more money, and guess what? He was not. So yeah, have fun. Have
I'll
fun.
let
Have fun. Being at the dirt.
I think we'll leave that there. It's only fitting JB wraps that topic up as a Steelers fan. So with that, like we said, we got a little bit of football and a whole lot of basketball for you guys. So with that, me and JB are now going to move into our final topic of the day. It's going to take us a hot minute, JB. JB, we're making our March Madness unbiased hard take bracket. So JB, let's start this thing out.
Let's start it out. All right. We have March Madness. Finally, a brackets where March Madness will come in full play. Is all the number one seeds are going to be knocked out game one, first round, or would they prevail and come to the second round? We don't know. So, first game, UConn versus Stetson. Who do you think we got?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but UConn is the defending national champions.
Mm-hmm.
They are a favorite by many, many people to win it again. With that, no disrespect to Stetson, they've had an outstanding season for them, 22-12 on the year. They're a 16 seed, smaller school, so great program, great effort making the tournament. But I don't think this is much of a competition. I think Stetson meets their demise here. JB, give me the
Mm-hmm.
defending champions here, UConn.
I feel that one. And we're going to keep staying in the East. And we're next game is going to be the FAU versus Northwestern. I'm feeling Northwestern in this matchup. What do you think?
Oh, you're going Northwestern? Why?
Well, I feel like this probably not going to be one of the upsets. I mean, it's not that much of an upset. But for one, it is March Madness. Upsets happen all the time. And I think Northwestern is that team that just gets down and dirty when the time is needed. And for them to proceed to the next round, I think Northwestern can actually prevail FAU.
In my original bracket, I said FAU would win, and I only said that because they average 82.5 points a game. However, their defense is not nearly as good as Northwestern's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna trust JB's judgment here. In my bracket, I said Florida Atlantic, but I'm rolling Northwestern here. JB's going with a defensive team. They only allow 6 to 9 points a game. They have a better defense than FAU does, so
And that's
I'll
that's
trust
the
JB's judgment here.
that's the other main reason why, because defense in basketball and all sports wins championships. So that's why I'm picking Northwestern, and we're locking in Northwestern. Next game, we have San Diego State and UAB. Who do you have?
San Diego State.
Yeah, there's
I
no
am,
question about that one.
and I only say that because I have the numbers right here. The Mountain West Conference, this is what San Diego State is in. 6 teams from the Mountain West Conference, which is an underrated conference, made the tournament this year.
Mm-hmm.
That's third, only to the Big 12 and the SEC, two of the biggest conferences in college basketball. Actually, Mountain West had as many teams as the Big 10 did. That's where Purdue is. So I think the Mountain West Conference is in for a good tournament. I think they're going to surprise some people. I think a lot of the upsets will come from the Mountain West Conference. Um, and San Diego State did make it to their conference championship, unlike Purdue. But San Diego State did lose eventually to New Mexico in the Mountain West Championship. So I think San Diego State for that reason.
And I do agree too. Next game, Auburn versus Yale.
Nerds.
I'm gonna pick. I'm picking Auburn with this one. It's just Yale. They never do really good in the March Madness ever. I don't. They probably been second round probably once, but I don't think they're not good enough to beat Auburn. What do you think?
I agree with you. Because I'm looking here, Bruce Pearl has the team playing elite on both sides of the ball. Their offense is good, but I think their defense is better. Yale's like you said, more of a small private school program. They normally win a game at most. Auburn's the better team on both sides of the ball, in my opinion. They play in a better conference, better competition. Give me Auburn.
Next game, BYU. And they verse a team that I cannot pronounce, and I am going to fudge this like I always do. DeQuince. I think I said that right.
DeQuince.
Yep.
DeQuince the Prince. DeQuince the Prince. There we go.
There we go. There we got it. Who do you have?
This is one of those ones you got to watch for the upset because this is also like one of those schools, like you said, that you've never heard of. You're like, who are those people that end up making it like to the Sweet 16 or something ridiculous? So watch yourselves here. Watch yourselves here. But Jackson Robinson on BYU is a real player. I think BYU just better competition, like I said. Jackson Robinson's better than anybody that the Duquesne has. So give me,
Quiz.
yeah, I think I'm rolling with BYU here.
And yeah, like you said, Bequeath I want to say they're kind of snuck in because they're rank 11 in the March Madness, but that's probably one team that BYU probably has to keep an eye on because, like I said, it's March Madness. A lot of upsets can happen. So this game will probably be down to the wire, but I think BYU is going to come out on top slightly. And now it is Illinois versus Morehead State. Honestly, no question, no comments or anything. Illinois is going to take this one by a huge margin. It's not even going to be a game. Honestly, in my opinion, Illinois is 10 times, 100 times more better than Morehead State, in my opinion. Just that Illinois knows how to get it done, and they know how to sweep, or I want to say demolish teams that's very what's the word I'm looking for? Lost my train of thought. But Illinois is winning this game regardless.
You're correct. Illinois has been the top 25 all season long. They have a 26-8 record, which is the same as Morehead State. But Illinois' offense is just going to be way too much. Illinois has a ceiling. They lost to Purdue both times, but both times were close games.
Mm-hmm.
It never really seemed to get blown out, but you know what you have. Illinois probably won't win the whole thing, but they're definitely beating Morehead State. Give me Illinois.
Next game, Washington State versus Drake. Who do you have?
Again, so really you're looking here, a 7 and a 10 seed. Both these teams are sort of to a point. A little smaller, but Kyle Smith's done an absolutely outstanding job with Washington State. Excuse me, I lost the train of the bracket. I had a bracket in front of me. I lost track of where it was. But he's done an outstanding job with Washington State. I'm looking here. I have the stats here. The 24-9. Isaac Jones is averaging 15.4 points a game. That's outstanding. But really, it's their defense that does it. Only 66.9 points a game allowed. That's insane to me. Their offense is a little slow, 74.3. But defense wins championships. So in this one, give me Washington State to beat Drake. I mean, that's what I think.
And
What
I
you got?
and I do agree as well. Washington State's going to come out on top, especially with that amazing defense that Washington State has. And like you said, it's like what 68 points.
I think that's what I said. Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
somewhere around six or high 60s. So that is a great team right there. So last game
66.
in 66.
It was 66.9.
So there we go. 67. It don't matter. Rounding up to 67. Anyways, last game of the East side of the March Madness. Iowa State versus South Dakota State. And like I said, just same way with the Illinois and Morehead State, it is not going to be a game. It is going to be a manslaughter. I am picking Iowa State. I do believe they have probably one of the best defense on the east side, in my opinion, other than UConn. So, I mean, that's probably one of the main reasons why they are ranked 2 in the East Division. So, give me Iowa State.
100% agree with you. And not only do they only allow 61.3 points a game, they're
Mm-hmm.
also one of the best teams in the nation at forcing turnovers. So, and they average 75.6 points a game themselves. So their offense isn't horrible, but their defense is really where it's at.
That defense
In a
is
normal
spot on.
season, they really, you could argue they could be a 1 seed truly in my opinion, because they force turnovers, they get more possessions for their offense, they have a stout defense. Yeah, I think they're going to make they could make a big tournament run. They could. So give me Iowa State.
Yeah, and I agree with that take right there. Where do you want to go next? Do you want to go to West? Do you want to go to the Midwest? Or do you want to go to the South?
Let's go to West. It's right below it in the bracket,
Right.
so I think it makes the most sense.
Fair enough. That's what we'll do.
Easy. It'll be easy for the people to follow.
This will be easy pickings. This game right here, North Carolina versus Wagner. Let's pick Wagner. No, I'm picking North Carolina. Like this is one of the games right here where it's Wagner. You probably fought your butts off to get into this tournament, but you kind of shot yourselves in the foot by facing North Carolina. Clearly. So I'm sorry about it, but North Carolina wins this by a lot. I don't even want to think about the points, but it's going to be a lot.
You are absolutely correct, my friend. And I want to give Wagner. I'll knock on them the whole time. Wagner did win their first 4 game last night. I
Mm-hmm.
watched that game myself. So Wagner did an outstanding job getting in the tournament from the first 4. So good job to Wagner for that. But yeah, North Carolina's a veteran team. They have 2 players, not one, 2 in today's world of one and done. They can go to the G League, they can transfer portal, and North Carolina in today's era of all of that has 2 players over 2,000 career points. North Carolina has the recipe to go all the way. Will they? We'll find out. But I don't think it ends with Wagner. No, give me North Carolina. JB's correct.
Like I said, Wagner. Like I said, you fought your butts off to be in this. You did everything. You did everything right, but you're facing North Carolina. You have to be on your A+++ game, and I don't think not even that will probably get you to the next round. I'm sorry about it. Um, if anybody's watching, they're from Wagner. Prove us wrong by beating North Carolina in round 1. Prove us wrong. Next game.
March Madness is known for that, JB. And
Exactly.
weird stuff happens all the time. So
Weird
we'll
stuff
see. We'll
happens
see.
all the time. But the next game probably won't be so weird. Mississippi State versus Michigan State. Who do you have?
This is hard
It
because
is hard.
Michigan State
It,
is not nearly as
it's
dominant.
it's they. I feel like Mississippi and Michigan State both balance out together, so it's going to be back. This game's going to be back and forth, in my opinion, because these teams are both balanced.
I agree. Michigan State's not as dominant as they used to be. It's just
Mm-mm.
they're not. Tom Izzo still is the coach. They normally always make the tournament every year, so they're a competitive program because of Tom Izzo and his elite coaching. He's
Yep.
an all-time great college head coach. So with that, because of the coaching edge, I think Michigan State and what they've done, what Tom Izzo's done in the past. He's an all-time great coach. I want to trust Tom Izzo to be able to win a first-round game. The dude's a champion. So yeah,
He went
I think
farther
Michigan State.
than
That's just
Matt
me.
Painter.
Bingo. So
I mean, that's not
that
saying
says it
much,
yourself.
anyways.
Not not this time of year at least. Regular season, different story.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get into Purdue later. There'll be plenty of time for Purdue. But
Oh yes.
what do you think, JB? What do you think on my Michigan State take? You agree or not?
I agree. I agree with you. Like I said, it's going. These both of these teams balance out each other. Their offensive points and their defensive allows. They're. I feel like they're right next to each other. I can't pull up stats because of we're doing this bracket here, but I do agree with you on the Michigan State. So our next game, St. Mary's versus Grand Canyon. I feel that this game is probably going to be one of the first upsets. That's my heart. That's my heart saying it. Grand Canyon is going to upset St. Mary's, rank 5. I do believe Grand Canyon can do it. I think this is going to be the first upset. I don't know why, because I like I said, I never seen Grand Canyon play or anything like that. But I just have that gut feeling that Grand Canyon is going to be the upset in this game. What do you think?
I'm proud of you, JB, because you read my mind. We did not script this because if you don't believe me, I picked Grand Canyon to upset St. Mary's on my personal bracket. You don't believe me? Go to our Facebook again.
Like I said,
That's
I
where
don't
our brackets.
I didn't, but times has changed, all that types of stuff. So, but
If
I do believe that Grand Canyon is going to upset St. Mary's.
I agree with you because I have them. People, like I said a minute ago, go fact check me. I had them in my personal bracket that I shared on our Facebook page. The link is in the description down below. So with that, here's why: the 5-12 matchup is one statistically. The analytics nerds will get into this and say because this is the analytics right here. The 5-12 matchup is one of the all-time most upset, one of the best number seeds to predict an upset. What the analytics say. So take that on fact of they're Grand Canyon's not a joke because they're not. They've made the NCAA March Madness tournament 3 of the last 4 seasons
Mm-hmm.
with the same head coach. So they've been in the tournament 3 of the last 4 years. So Grand Canyon's been in the tournament before. They normally don't get too far, but I don't know. This seems like one of those upsets. Grand Canyon's been a consistent program for a while. This just has upset written on it. I agree with you.
I feel that deep down in my soul. But next game, Alabama Roll Tide versus Charleston. What do you think?
Alabama is not necessarily known for their basketball program. They're known for their football program, but they don't have a bad basketball program by any stand other than me, and they're a 4 seed. I'm looking here. Mark Sears is averaging 21 points a game. The Charleston's highest one is 12.8. They're not an offensive team. Charleston plays in a lower conference. They average 10 less points a game than Bama does, points per game. Alabama plays in the SEC. It's just going to be too hard for Charleston to keep up offensively. There's just anything can happen, but I think Bama wins. Maybe.
Oh yeah, I do believe so. I agree with your take on Alabama beating Charleston. It's not going to be by much, but it's going to be enough for them to proceed to the next round. So next game on our list, Clemson versus New Mexico.
New Mexico. Personally, for me, JB, people go to my personal bracket. I had in my personal bracket New Mexico in the Final Four. Here's why. They're my upset team. There's always one team that gets farther than they should, but they're a legit team. Like I said, they're in the Mountain West Conference. The Mountain West Conference is an underrated conference who has 6 teams in it, the same amount as the Big. That's where Purdue and Illinois play. So, with the Mountain West Conference being underrated, they also won the Mountain West tournament. They beat San Diego State. So I think truly that's personally my upset team this season. JB, and do you disagree?
Yes and no. I do believe Clemson um, is a lot better basketball than what New Mexico is. Regardless on the situation, to me, I think Clemson is going to win, but there's always that one little itty bitty tiny bit of me thinking, excuse me, that New Mexico is going to win, and I'm going to believe in my little itty bitty tiny self that New Mexico is going to beat Clemson. So we are going to pick New Mexico is going to be the second team to be in the upset.
Sounds like JB's trusting my judgment here.
I am trusting, like I said, that itty bitty tiny speck. I do believe that,
And
but sometimes that little itty bitty speck is just all that it needs.
and I'm looking here. There are some numbers to back New Mexico. New Mexico has more points per game than Clemson does, and New Mexico has a better defensive points per game than Clemson does. So there are some numbers to back it up.
And like I said, and it's probably not by much, but they're up just for a little bit. That's why it says the itty bitty. Anyways, we got a lot of teams to go through, a lot of rounds to go through. So Baylor versus a toothpaste brand Colgate. Like this Colgate brightens your teeth, and I'm sorry, but I don't think they're not gonna. I think Baylor's gonna come out and be the dominant as they always are. I'm sorry, Colgate, but Baylor. I'm choosing Baylor.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't think this one will be very close. I mean, they've always been good under head coach Scott Drew. They're one of the best teams ranked in the country when it comes to adjusted offensive efficiency. So Baylor, again, they're always contenders. A bigger team, bigger conference, hotter competition. Yeah, give me Baylor.
Next up, Dayton versus Nevada.
JB, what you got? What do you think on this?
Like I said, I never watched these two teams actually, like full on nosedive into their to their schedule and their stats, but like some for most, like I said, majority people of doing this hardly ever watch anybody except for their quite a few named teams. And I think Dayton and Nevada is one of those teams that people hardly ever notice. Um, and I think Dayton. Don't quote me on it, but I do think Dayton has a little bit better defense than what Nevada has. I think they have like one or two players that's probably in the averaging in the teens is for their points per game, but don't quote me on it. I do believe so, or either they have one or really close.
It's close. Nevada averages 2 more points a game. However, Nevada does have a better defensive rank. They only
Yeah.
allow 67 points a game.
So for me, I'm picking Nevada.
This is also one of those upsets I have here as well. Again, here's the big thing for me. Nevada's 3-1 against top 25 teams. Dayton's 0-1. That says something. When the competition level gets higher, it seems like Nevada seems to step it up a little bit. Again, like JB said, it's hard to watch all college basketball teams because there's so many.
Mm-hmm.
In the NFL, there's only 32 teams, and NBA is only 30. So what I always do is to kind of help myself get educated on it is these last couple of nights I've watched highlights of every team and read about every team and making notes. That's what I do because there's so many teams you can't watch them all. But I've watched some highlights from what I've seen and read. Nevada's the better team. Give me Nevada.
And here's another game that there's probably we're not gonna have not too many thoughts on it. Arizona versus Long Beach State. I'm picking Arizona.
Oh yeah, I mean absolutely. Arizona's a 2 seed. Arizona averages more points, has a better defensive ranking. It's better versus top 25 teams because Long Beach State hasn't played a single one, and I mean they have a better conference record in their respective conferences as well. Long Beach State was 10-10 in their conference. Good luck against Arizona. Yeah, give me Arizona.
Good luck. All right, Midwest or South?
Again, I think South makes most sense. I think it's probably easiest to follow.
All right, we're going back on top of the bracket. We're starting off with Houston and Longwood. This is probably one of the teams that I've never heard of. And it's a good thing that Purdue is not facing them because there's that teams of yeah. So yeah, I'm picking Houston on this one. What do you think?
Yeah, Houston's probably an early favorite. Them and UConn are probably the two quote unquote safest bets to win it all.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, not only is Houston dominant with Cryer and Sheed, they also are a physical team and are one of the best rebounding teams in the nation. So they're not very soft. Yeah, they're built for a long run. I think Houston wins here.
And I agree. But I mean, like I said, there's no question or anything. Sorry, Longwood. Never heard of you. You probably did. You probably, like you said, with Wagner and all the rest of the 16 ranked in the March Madness. You guys busted your butts off to be here, but sadly, it has to come to an end. Um, your road, all you guys, all your roads stop here. So, but yeah, Houston is going over Longwood. Next game, Nebraska versus Texas A&M. Um, even though they played very, very sloppy against us at one point, but I'm picking Nebraska on this one, even though they're probably like I said, a very sloppy team. Um, Either they can win by 20 or they win by 1. I mean, there's no in between of pure dominance for Nebraska, and same thing for Texas A&M, in my opinion. But I am picking Nebraska on this game.
You know, a lot of the people probably aren't picking Nebraska to win this game. I am. They have that. I can't remember his name. The foreign player. He had a couple of good moments in the tournament as well, conference tournaments. I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, Nebraska actually made it farthest they've ever made it in their conference tournament. So Nebraska kind of hit some stride. They broke some franchise records in that and made it as far as they've ever made it. I think Nebraska's probably someone to watch to win one game, probably no more than that. But give me Nebraska, I think, to kind of pull off of a weird upset, I think.
Yeah, and they bumped us out in the Big Ten tournament by overtime by 1 point.
That was Wisconsin, my
Oh,
friend.
Wisconsin? Oh, I thought it was Nebraska. I slept since then. Clearly, I have slept since then. They're both red, so meh. Anyways,
Speaking of Wisconsin,
speaking of Wisconsin, exactly. Next game is either Wisconsin or James Madison. Wait, crap, I forgot to click on Nebraska. Anyways, Wisconsin or James Madison. Who do you got?
Wisconsin, they made it to the Big Ten conference tournament. They knocked Purdue out in the Big Ten tournament.
By 1.
Covered. I covered that on Facebook. I'll get into that later. Anyway, Wisconsin, they had an outstanding Big Ten tournament. I think Wisconsin wins this game by at least 8.
I do agree with you there. Like I said, James Madison, they've had their, quite a few moments to get here. But Wisconsin is 10 times more better than what James Madison is. Next game, we got Duke versus Vermont. Who do you got?
I'm going to say Duke, but I'm actually going to say Duke barely wins. They come in losing 2 in a row. They seemed a bit fatigued towards the end of the regular season. So kind of if their offense goes cold, they're screwed. I think Duke could be on upset alert, kind of watch, because there's always a big seeded team always loses round 1. I think that's possible here, but my common sense tells me Duke. Give me the Blue Devils.
I do agree with you there. Even though they're on the losing streak right now, um, but they do have the talent to bounce back and actually they have the talent to actually. God, I am losing my train of thought. Like I said, there's too this is March Madness, and my brain is being mad right now. Anyways, Duke winning over Vermont. They got the talent to try to bounce back. There we go. God,
He's getting his words out.
I'm slowly getting my words out here. Next game, Texas Tech or North Carolina State. What do you got?
North Carolina State did knock Duke out of their conference tournament. So that is to be mentioned. However, I like Texas Tech here. I don't know why. I think it's because probably they're 6-5 against top 25 teams, while North Carolina State's only 2-4 against top 25 teams. I like to see what you do against big competition. JB, I mean, I think it could go either way here. So if you disagree, we'll go with your pick. What do you got?
I do agree with you on the Texas Tech take. Um, they're not too much of a too much of like a go getter. Their defense is probably not that great, but their offense is somewhat better than what North Carolina State is. But like I said, like you said, North Carolina State has a losing record with the top 25 teams, and Texas Tech is 10 times more better. Is I think North Carolina State they shake when it comes to big competition, and Texas Tech they can actually perform and do well. So I'm agreeing with you with the Texas Tech. And next game, somebody's a lot of people's favorites on this game, Kentucky versus Oakland.
Me and you from Indiana, my friend. Here's a side story. There's a lot of Kentucky fans around, obviously.
Hmm.
People in our area are pretty much either Boilermaker fans, Hoosier fans, or Wildcat fans when it comes to basketball. I think you would agree with that. That's
Yep,
pretty much how it goes around this area. And Purdue's probably the third most popular team of all of those. And I hate Kentucky, but I'm not an idiot because they're one of the best teams in the country. They have not a one man show. They have 5 players, JB, averaging 10 points or higher. Kentucky is an outstanding program. In my personal bracket, I have Kentucky going to the Final Four. I think Kentucky wins. I'm kind of rooting against them because I like to see upsets and I like to see dogs barking with March Madness. I like to see the underdogs win, but Kentucky's probably going to win. They're just too balanced.
I do agree with you. They they always try to find the way to being top five in every single March Madness ever. Kentucky is always that team that's always is there and always a competitive team. So give me Kentucky. Now here is a game where we cannot really decide yet because it is Florida, either Colorado or Boise State. Those teams, we're recording this right now, has not played yet. I don't think, well, because clearly we can't even pick. But between both of those teams facing against Florida, um, for me, it is Florida all the way. It don't matter what team it is, um, in my opinion. But I'm picking Florida on this one. What do you think?
I agree. I'm not fans of first fours winning games necessarily because of fatigue. Because, like you said, Colorado and Boise State are going to be battling it out tonight to see who actually gets to play. And Florida's going to be well more rested. They're probably the favorite anyway. On top of some extra rest, because Florida doesn't play right now. They don't have to play a play-in game. So give me Florida.
Yep, I agree with you on that one. Last game of the South. Um, we got Marquette versus Western Kentucky. What do you got?
Marquette will win by 2. Marquette's known to get in foul trouble. In
Mm-hmm.
these games in March Madness, you gotta watch yourself against these teams you've never heard of. Like I said, I think Marquette they've shown at times they can be vulnerable. They're known to get in foul trouble at times. So kind of watch this game a little closely. But I think Marquette's gonna win.
I do agree with you there. I mean, there's no There's no question about it. Even though they are ranked two, they're ranked two for a reason because they're really dominant. But like you said, they are in foul trouble quite a bit. They do like to get that physical, but
Get physical.
physical, money get physical.
Wow.
I know, nice little bar. We're probably gonna get demonetized. Anyways, that is it for the South.
We're not
Now
going to get
we're
demonetized with how bad that was. We'll be fine, buddy.
Anyways, we're gonna get physical in the Midwest here. We're starting off. Like I said, this game right here has not been yet decided. They're gonna play earlier tonight. Frankly, I never heard of these two teams, so this is what scares me the most.
Here we go again.
I'm just gonna how it's posted on here because they don't got pictures, so I really don't know. Purdue versus Graham. I don't know versus Mon State. I don't I don't know.
Morehead State.
There we go. There we go. Morehead State. Like I said, two teams I've never heard of in my entire life. Like I said, for example, this is March Madness. We never heard of half of these teams ever to be in here, but they are here and they're ready to kick some butt. But it is Purdue we are talking about here. And yes, we both on both of our brackets, we have chosen Purdue to win it all. But like I said, it's March Madness. Two teams that I have never heard of, and you probably never heard of either.
Obviously not, because I screwed it up, because it's not even Morehead State, it's Montana State. I don't know what I was thinking. And they're actually
there we
up
go.
right now at halftime against Grambling State, 42-33. So if Montana State hangs on, it'll appear to be Purdue versus Montana State. And there's no reason to pick against Purdue here.
There's no reason. Exactly. There's no reason. I mean,
but there's no reason. There was no reason to pick against them last year either. And look how that went.
Exactly.
But a new season, people change narratives all the time. It's a new year.
Yep.
We need to leave the past behind us. Purdue is the obvious pick. Before I have a stroke,
Deja vu.
I'm taking the Boilermakers.
Deja vu.
I am
Deja
nervous.
vu. Deja vu. I'm picking Purdue here on this one as well. Hopefully history does not repeat itself. If
It'll be the laughing stock if it does. It'll be the laughing stock if it does. And I'm nervous. I'm nervous for Friday night, if you want me to be honest with you.
Oh, what trust me.
Forgive me.
I'm nervous too. But here's the thing, right? If we lose, we are going to be one of the most laughing stocks college to ever, and I mean ever, to exist. We might as well be 16th or heck, not even be part of March Madness ever again. Because if we lose this game, day one, again, where we have one of the best offenses, one of the best defense, one of the best rebounders, back to back college MVP, Zach Edey, and we have a 10 times better offense and 10 times better defense than last year. But yet we decided to choke against a team that in New Jersey that we never heard of. I swear.
Bygones are bygones, my friend. Purdue's the right pick. Purdue's the right pick. Purdue's taking this game.
I swear. I swear.
I say half confidently.
I swear. Purdue better win. But we're picking Purdue. Next game. Utah State versus TCU. What do you got?
Again, this is one of those games that I think truly could probably go either way. This will be a very good game. Utah State has a better points per game by 0.6 points, so it's virtually the same. And they also have a better
Balanced.
defense by less than 2 points a game. So it's
Balanced.
virtually tie and tie here. So looking at it, an 8 and a 9 seed. Technically, if the 9 seed wins, it's the upset. For the sake of that, it's pretty close here. Give me the upset team just for the sake of it. Give me TCU.
I agree
We're
with you
going with the
100%.
we're going with the frogs. A horned
That that
frogs.
that
Anyway,
that little itty bitty speck can change a difference. But next game, Gonzaga versus the heck is that? McNeese. Never heard of him in my entire life. What is McNeese? What is do you have their stat line? Because I've never heard of them.
well,
Lay it on us.
If you want McNeese's stat line, I mean, they they have this Wells player. If I'm looking correctly, he's around. Let me look here. Yep, Wells. He averages 17.8 points a game for for McNeese. But Gonzaga, while they don't have NBA prospects like they normally do, they're actually a very efficient offensive team. They average over 80 points a game without true NBA prospects this season. I think Gonzaga is going to tear apart McNeese. Give me the absolutely Gonzaga.
Well, McNeese better go back to McDonald's because Gonzaga is going to get those McNuggets. If
And Szechuan sauce. Now we're going to get demonetized. Let's move forward.
Anyways, let's keep on going to Kansas versus Samford.
We own absolutely no money rights to anything. I need to say that. We are simply a podcast looking for jokes. All credit goes to all distributors, all that good stuff. So, like JB said, what do you got for the people, JB?
I'm picking Kansas here. I'm picking Kansas because they always have a fantastic program. They always have, and I feel like they always will be. I've never seen Kansas be below 5. Whenever we started liking sports, I've never seen Kansas below 5 ever. So
not that I can recall, at least.
Yeah, not that we recall, but Kansas is always one of those top teams to get the job done, regardless of who they are facing. They got probably one of the best coaching staff there. But I'm picking Kansas. Yeah, I'm picking Kansas.
I agree, and yes, even though Kevin McCullar Jr., who's their best player by far, has been announced that he will miss March Madness, so their best player is out. So I don't think Kansas will probably make a deep run this year. We'll kind of determine that here in a little bit, but I have enough for their program to think they'll at least get one win, even with their best player out. So give me Kansas in overtime. I think this is one of those games because of the injury that could get really weird. And I think it will.
Mm-hmm.
I think it gets weird. Overtime game, Kansas wins. I just have too much respect for the program. Give me the Jayhawks.
Like they're the coaching staff there. They always find a way to get the job done, regardless of if there's a star players there or not. But it's I don't think they're, like you said, they're not going to have that much of a great run just because of their star player being injured for the remainder of the March Madness. So give me Kansas over Samford. Next game, South Carolina versus Oregon. Who do you got?
This is one of those hard games, in my opinion, as well, because South Carolina and Oregon, they're not fiery offensive teams. Neither team really scores the ball efficiently. But South Carolina has a much better defense. They allow 67 points a game. That's it.
That's really
They're
good.
3-4 against top 10 teams. Oregon's 1-3. So both these teams have losing records against top 25 teams. But South Carolina has 2 extra wins. They take care of the ball. They don't turn the ball over a lot. So with that, I think South Carolina wins. They're a fundamentally strong team. They just don't have a lot of fiery potential. We know what they are, but there's something to say for that. They're consistent. So give me South Carolina.
I do agree with you. They have a lot better defensive team than what their offense shows. But for that, um, South Carolina is winning, in my opinion. Next game, we got the Creighton versus Akron. I'm picking Creighton.
I am picking Creighton. You do it better than me, but I'm picking them as well. They beat UConn, my friend. So we know
Mm-hmm.
what Creighton's capable of. We talked about that a while back on our podcast. So Creighton. Excuse me.
The
That's a new thing
Creighton.
now. Creighton. I think they get the win here. They've beaten UConn. We know what they're capable of.
Yeah, but for the team that beats UConn, that's that's really really fantastic. Next game, we got Texas versus Colorado State. I'm picking Texas. Everything's bigger in Texas, and this score is going to be big. So I'm picking Texas.
I want to pick Texas also. On paper, they're the easy pick here, but they've let some games slip away this year. But I'm going to
Hence
pick
why they're
Texas
ranked 7.
mainly because of what their talent on paper says they should be. It's hard to think that talent of a team will get bounced first round. Give me Texas.
I do agree. Now, last game of the Midwest. Tennessee versus St. Peter's. I'm picking Tennessee. There's yeah, Tennessee is by far the best and probably the only best option for this matchup. What do you think?
I absolutely think Tennessee wins this game. They barely lost to Purdue, which, again, Purdue, we know what they are. They're the best team in the nation.
Oh, that's so
But on
good.
top of that, Tennessee also averages 79.5 points. St. Peter's averages 65. There's a 14-point different point spread there. They have one of the best shot blockers in college basketball. So they're a physical team. Tennessee's going to win this game.
Now, we are going to stay in the Midwest. And we're going to the second round of the bracket. And we're going to stay on, like I said, we're going to stay on the Midwest. So, Tennessee versus Texas. And I do believe in my heart, everything's big in Texas, right? But I don't their big lead that they had against Colorado State is going to come to an end against Tennessee. My friend, I do believe Tennessee is going to win. What do you think?
I agree. Tennessee wins. Texas, like I said a minute ago, they are super inconsistent. They've let a lot of games go. They're a 7 seed. I think Tennessee, like I said, they're a physical team, one of the best shot blockers in the game. I think Tennessee wins this one.
Next game of round 2 of the Midwest is Creighton versus South Carolina. And to me, for this one, it's no brainer still. Creighton is going to come out on top.
I agree. And not because of how fun it is to say. There's actually numbers here. They average 80.5 points a game compared to South Carolina 72. Creighton beat UConn, which is probably the favorite to win it all this year by a lot of people. A lot of people say Purdue is. Depends who you are. They're a 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
You could argue any of the 1 seeds. So either way, they beat a 1 seed already. So give me Creighton.
Yes, you did pretty good there.
That was a good one.
Now, the next game is Gonzaga versus Kansas. Who do you got?
Like I said earlier, Kevin McCullough Jr. is out for the March Madness.
Mm-hmm.
I think that kills their chances at a national championship. I have a lot of respect for Kansas. I think they'll get out of round 1 based on their program. But I think Gonzaga is a powerhouse as well. They're always in the tournament. They're a good program. Because of the injury, Gonzaga gets the upset here.
And I do agree with you. Great, great program that Kansas is going for. But with your star player being injured for the remainder of the March Madness season, this is where for your guys' road to come to an end. We're picking Gonzaga. I'm picking Gonzaga by 5.
I agree. I think that'd be a close game.
Next game.
Here we go again, JB.
Here we go again. Purdue versus TCU. I swear they better win round 1. I swear. I swear. Who do you got? Purdue or TCU?
In our personal brackets, we had Purdue winning the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue is set at all college basketball season long. We are the best team in the country. There is no reason for us to lose. Against top 25 teams, we're 7-0. 7-0. We have the best
7-0.
basketball player in the country when it comes to college.
Back to back.
Zach Edey's a baller. He's the number 1 pick in my opinion. Film I've watched, he's number 1 pick. There's no reason to lose this game. Purdue wins in a landslide. This is going to be a different type of season. We're too good for Matt Painter to screw this up. It's now or never. Give me the Bulldogs.
Exactly. It's now or never. Even though we lost to Wisconsin in the Big 12 tournament by 1 in overtime, in which I watched a little bit of that game. Our offense did
Big 10.
Big 10. Yeah. Why did I say Big 12? I don't, like I said, my brain is being all scrambled up because of this March Madness. Because it's madness. I'm telling you, it's madness. But no, we lost by 1 in overtime, and our offense did diddly squat. Literally diddly squat. Zach Edey, once again, he had to fight his butt off to at least get us to a chance. But he's when Matt Painter puts everything on Zach Edey, when he puts all of our offense goes to him. No. That's why he screws up a lot, because he takes 20 shots a game, 25 shots a game, and he misses half of them. Why? Because he's tired. We have so much ball. We have so much potential to be we have potential to be the greatest, and we are the greatest. But we have guards that can shoot the ball lights out if we use them. But there are times, there are games, and Wisconsin was the exhibit A of why we don't use our guards to shoot lights out, because Matt Painter decides to do what Matt Painter does, is to choke an overtime lead and lose by one because of Zach Edey being tired and using all of our offensive possessions. I'm boss picking Purdue, but I swear, we talk so much smack, but true fans, true fans, we have faith in our players. We just don't have faith in Matt Painter. Like I said, it's we like we keep saying, we have the potential to be the greatest. Like last year, we were undefeated for the most longest period of time, but this year we decided to not do the same route, but we have a lot better players than what we had last year. But that is it for round 2 of the Midwest. Now, we are going to the South. We got Florida versus Marquette.
Round 2, it starts to get fun because you have all these teams that are super, super, super good, and that anything can truly happen. But JB, gosh dang, man, it's hard because Marquette has the better defense, but Florida has the better offense. It's by far. Both have losing records versus top 25 teams. But Marquette defense wins championships. I think Marquette wins. JB,
I
I'm
do
going. I'm
agree.
going to lean defense, especially in college sports.
Yep, it's especially in college. Defense is that's where everything shines the most, is in the college for the defense. Defense wins all the championships. Look at look at football, for example, and everything else. Defense wins championships. Um, but yeah, Marquette, even though they're in that foul trouble quite a bit, um, but yet they have the a lot 100% better defense than what Florida has. So give me Marquette. Next game, Kentucky versus Texas Tech. I'm picking Kentucky because they are always. I mean, this is another safe pick in my opinion. To go to the next round. What do you think?
Kentucky, I think Kentucky wins this game. I think this game's a little closer than people think it could be. I think ultimately, here's why. Like I said, Kentucky's a well balanced team. 5 players over 10 points a game. Their highest player is Antonio Reeves, 20 points a game. Texas Tech's highest is 15.9 points a game. So there's just too much from top to bottom with Kentucky. Give me Kentucky.
I agree. Next game, Duke versus Wisconsin. I'm picking Duke, but it's not by much. I do believe it's probably going to be a 2-point win for Duke. Like I said, Wisconsin is a little sloppy um, against top 25 teams, in my opinion. So, for that being said, Duke is going to come out on top, but not by much.
We're pretty much on the same page on a lot of this. And I agree. And I know Duke kind of exited the season a little, losing a couple games and whatnot, like I said earlier. But Wisconsin kind of fooled people with Purdue. Wisconsin has not played better basketball than Duke has throughout the entire season.
Nope.
Duke averages more points a game. They have a better defensive rating. They have a better BPI rank, and they're better versus top 25 teams. And they have a better conference record. Duke was 15-5. Wisconsin's only 11-9 in the Big Ten. They upset some people in the Big Ten tournament. Purdue. That's why they're getting a lot of bingo. That's why they're getting a lot of love right now. Ultimately, Duke's the better team. I think Duke wins.
Next game, Houston versus Nebraska. And to me, this is a no-brainer. Um, I'm picking Houston.
Oh yeah. I mean, Nebraska, like I said, they've had a good run. They made some noise in the tournament a little bit and whatnot, but Houston, they only lost 4 games all season long. JB,
Hmm.
they've been the consensus 1 seed all season long. They're just the better team here. I don't think this game is close. Houston's a well-rounded team.
I do agree. Now we're gonna hop on over to the east side. East side. Yukon versus Northwestern. I'm. Do we just want to pick Yukon and go to the next game? Because I mean this is going to be a no brainer.
I mean, I agree it's a no-brainer, but I'll give a little bit of a backstory as to why it's a no-brainer.
It's Yukon.
The defending champions. Right, that's number one. The defending champions, and Tristan Newton's one of the best players in college basketball. JB, he really is. UConn. Like I said, most people are picking them to win the entire thing. I don't think they'll have an issue with a Northwestern team that is actually lost 11 games this season. UConn lost 3. Northwestern lost 11. Good luck against the defending champions. That's all I'll say. The records speak for themselves. Give me the defending champs.
Next game, San Diego State versus Auburn. This is probably the one that, to me, I think it balanced itself out again. Um, but I'm probably going to pick San Diego State on this one.
I agree. Me and JB are putting a lot of stock in them Mountain West teams. Like I said, they had a good Mountain West tournament. They ended up losing the final game of the Mountain West tournament. So that Mountain West tournament's underrated. I'm telling you, a lot of these upsets are going to come from that Mountain West. Give me San Diego State.
I agree. But next game, BYU versus Illinois. To me, even a child can pick this game correctly, and to me, it is going to be Illinois. Illinois is going to win this game. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, Illinois has been a consensus top 25 team all year long. Like I said earlier, they won the Big Ten tournament. So, I mean, Illinois, they've done nothing to say they should lose this game. Give me Illinois.
Next game in the South Side, Washington State versus Iowa State. I don't know. I feel this one might be an upset. In my opinion, I do believe it is going to be an upset. But stats say Iowa State, they have the better offense, they have the better defense. But I've something telling me that this is going to be an upset. What do you think?
I mean, they're a physical defensive team, JB. Defense wins championships. But you know what? Upsets happen all the time. Brackets never make any sense at all. So
Nope.
because of that, I'm going to trust your gut here. And I'm going to say the upset as well. Washington State defeats Iowa State.
Like this is, don't you have that gut feeling that you have when you see this game? It's just a gut feeling that is going to be an upset. I don't know why, but I feel it's going to be a massive upset. Not a massive upset. I'm sorry. It's just going to be an upset. They're probably going to win by 2, by a buzzer beater. That's what I'm feeling. That's what I'm feeling. I don't know if you're feeling the same thing, but that's what I'm feeling.
I'm going to go with you. You know, a buzzer beater. They'll be down by 1. But then they'll win by 1 because of the buzzer beater. It'll be a win or go home shot, and they'll make it.
I feel it. I feel it deep down. This one, we're going to the West Side. North Carolina versus Michigan State. Like I said, with the Illinois and BYU game, a child can get this one right. It's going to be North Carolina, hands down. They got the better defense, better offense. They know how to win and they know how to do it right. North Carolina wins.
Like I said, I have a lot of respect for Tom Izzo, but Michigan State's just not as dominant as they have been in years past. North Carolina is a basketball powerhouse. They're a 1 seed. Tom Izzo's great. I think Michigan State loses by 6. I think it's a close game. But ultimately, North Carolina pulls away.
Next game, Grand Canyon versus Alabama. This one, I don't know. What do you think? I'm picking Alabama.
We'll go with yours if this doesn't change your mind. Hear me out.
Yep.
Maybe at one point, Alabama lost 7 of 8 games.
Yep.
Grand Canyon is always that weird team every year, man.
Like
I
I
don't
said,
know. I'm just, what do you, okay.
You know what? You convinced me. Grand Canyon is that team. It's Grand Canyon is that team. Just like there's that one team. That one team is Grand Canyon.
I mean, Bama's been struggling as of recent. I mean, the losses have been racking up for them.
Mm-hmm.
It shows it with their losing streak. So it's all about getting hot at the right time, JB.
Yep.
This is a big upset here. I think. I think Grand Canyon. We're going. The unbiased hard take is saying Grand Canyon.
We have faith in you, Grand Canyon. Next game, New Mexico versus Baylor. Is New Mexico is going to stay on their high horse for being the upset, beating Clemson, or is that high horse going to come falling down and Baylor's going to overcome? What do you think?
I said it last time I talked about New Mexico. That Mountain West Conference, I think a lot of these upsets come from that. They won that Mountain West title. I think a lot of the upsets come from this division right here. This division right here. I think New Mexico, JB, we're not crazy. I promise, viewers, we're not crazy. Trust us.
We are
New
crazy.
Mexico. I have New Mexico in my personal Final Four. JB, what do you think? I got New Mexico here.
I'm picking New Mexico, like you said. The West Side is probably going to we're kind of from the most upsets, in our opinions. New Mexico is going to stay on that high horse. They're beating Baylor by 5.
I'll say 15. I'll shock people. Flat out, run them out of the building. 15 points.
I agree. Next game, Nevada versus Arizona. I'm gonna pick Arizona on this one. This one's a no-brainer. What do you think?
I mean, I agree. We've had a couple string of upsets in a row here. We can't get too far off track.
Yeah,
we Arizona can't pick every game to be an upset. That ain't gonna happen. So with that, I mean, Arizona is a consistent team all year long. They're a good program. Give me Arizona.
Whew, man, these burps are hurting. All right, we're gonna stay in the West Side, and we are in the Sweet 16, baby.
Oh boy,
we got New Mexico versus Arizona. What do you think? Are we going to stay on this New Mexico high horse?
I said I had them in my Final Four, my personal Final Four. I ain't going to reveal how that happened yet. JB, I'm telling you, there's always a team that makes the Final Four that shouldn't.
Mm-hmm. And New
I'm
Mexico
telling
is
you,
that team.
I think they are. I really,
Yep.
really do. They beat Duke, JB.
Mm-hmm.
They've beaten Duke this season. They lost. They only lost to Purdue by single-digit points. JB, they have the recipe. They had a hot streak. They won their conference tournament. They played in an underrated conference. This team has that writing on the wall.
Mm-hmm. I
It
agree.
does.
I agree.
I think this is people won't say we're insane, but that's why no one ever gets a
Insane
perfect
in the
bracket
membrane.
because that's right. So you got to look to see who makes sense for upsets. New Mexico makes sense. There's
Mm-hmm.
logic behind it. Give me New Mexico.
Now, this game, North Carolina versus Grand Canyon.
There's upsets every year, JB.
Exactly.
Every year.
Every year,
And
there's
not all
always
of those
upsets.
but not all of those upset teams make it to the Final Four. North Carolina is just too good.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Canyon, I think, plays them close. Now, if you want to go with the upset, JB, tell me. But it just makes too much sense for North Carolina here.
I agree. It makes way too much sense. North Carolina is the true powerhouse. They've been a true powerhouse for I'm gonna probably want to say for decades. Um, and for that, I'm picking North Carolina.
And they're a veteran team. It's hard
Yep.
to do that in college sports these days. Two players with 2,000 points. They scored 100 points at one point this season, JB, against Tennessee, who
Yep.
is good. That's not against a Division II school. They scored 100 on Tennessee, JB. And North
Yep.
Carolina's gonna win, man.
And that's one tough team. That's we're gonna get onto this for that with when we get back to it. Um, we're going to the East Side. Illinois versus Washington State. I'm picking Illinois, just because of their, um, their. Oh, man, I swear my brain today is in shambles today. Um, is for their intensity to win. Um, But yeah, that's the reason why I'm picking Illinois. I mean, they got the stats to prove it. The record shows it. Um, I'm picking Illinois. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. They won the Big Ten tournament. The Big Ten's a hard conference. They're coming into this thing on a good note. I think that helps their chances. Like I said, they've been a top 25 team. They do turn the ball over a lot, so that'll be their downfall if they do lose. But Illinois is just they're coming in on a good note. Give me Illinois. I think they're going to get to the Elite Eight.
I do agree. Next game, Yukon versus San Diego State. Are we gonna throw us a stat line? But we already know who we're gonna pick. We're gonna pick Yukon. But give us a stat line if you want to.
Kristen Newton's just too good, man. He averages 15.2 points a game, 7 rebounds, 6 assists. He's a balanced player.
Mm-hmm.
They're the defending champions for a reason. I love me the Mountain West teams, but obviously not every Mountain West team is going to make it to the Final Four. You got to pick with one. I UConn's too good. UConn's a 1 seed. They're getting to the Elite Eight. They're the defending champions. They've proven they can do it.
Yep.
There's no reason to pick against UConn.
I mean, look what they did last year. Now we're going to the South. Who do you got? Houston or Duke?
This is where I think Duke's fatigue gets to them. They lost their last 2 games. They've shown fatigue in the regular season. Now you got a couple March Madness games under your belt. that fatigue's going to get to them, especially against a Houston team that's probably better than them anyway. I mean, the stats say it is. Houston average, like I said, JB. Their defense, 57 points allowed a game. That's astonishing. Duke's not going to be able to score against their defense. That's the problem. Give me Houston. What do you got?
I'm agreeing with you. Houston's gonna demolish Duke. This is where Duke, I want to say, shows their true colors, but they've shown their true colors for quite a bit. That's the reason why they're on their losing streak right now. So Houston is gonna show them, congratulations, you came this far, but you're not gonna bypass us. So I'm picking Houston as well. Next game, we got Kentucky versus Marquette. Who do you got?
This is one of those games that's hard to pick.
Exactly.
Kentucky's too balanced.
Hmm.
I have Kentucky personally in my Final Four. I think Kentucky wins. They're just too deep. They're a true team. Multiple players, 10 points. I've said it multiple times this podcast, but it's true. Marquette, they can get kind of sloppy at times. Like I said, they get in foul trouble quite a bit. And against a team with a lot of good scores, that's going to come to bite them. I think Kentucky wins.
I agree with you. Um, Wait, you say you're picking Kentucky?
Yes, I think they're just too deep of a team, and Marquette turns the ball over a lot.
I do agree. Like I said, I do agree with you. Marquette, even though they are a fantastic basketball team, but their turnover rate and their foul trouble, they that's this is where they're gonna get. This is where they're gonna bite them in the butt. Um, for me, Kentucky is going to win that game. Now we're going to the Midwest.
We're back,
We are back,
baby.
baby.
We're back.
We're back. Purdue versus Gonzaga. I'm picking Purdue, but who are you picking?
Man, JB's getting kind of quiet because now he's not sure because we're in the Sweet 16. JB, Matt Painter's never been passed here. So are me and you going to be willing to say that on our podcast and put our sports knowledge reputation on the line and say that Purdue is finally going to get to the Elite Eight under Matt Painter? Because that's what I'm about to do. Because I did it on my personal bracket. I shared on
We
the
both
Unbiased,
we
and
both
I
did it on our
truly,
personal bracket.
I truly do think that they're going. I truly do think JB that they're going to win it all this year. Braden Smith averages 7.3 points a game. JB Zach Edey averages 24.4 points a game and a double double. He's the nation's best player. Matt Painter, as much as we talk bad about him, he is a good coach. He is a good regular season coach. He has all the talent in the world to prove that he is a Hall of Fame coach. He wins this championship, he's a Hall of Fame coach. His regular season reputation says so. And then he would have the championship to back it up. This is the year, JB. Purdue is getting to the Elite Eight. They have a all-time great regular season coach, the best player in the country, and a true passing point guard to distribute the ball. Purdue gets to the Elite Eight.
I agree. I agree what you're saying, but I'm gonna keep saying every time we talk or we come on the Purdue topic. Let's hope history does not repeat itself because I looked up the score right now. Versus Graham and Montana State. Graham is up by 1, 60-59, with 5 minutes and 39 seconds left to go. So keep that in mind. Like I said, we're going to keep an eye on this game because this is what Purdue faced round 1. Anyways, we're going to our next game in the Midwest. Creighton versus Tennessee.
Creighton.
I'm this is where um I've stat wise, right? It bounces out, right? But if Crichton gets down and dirty, I do believe not I mean not down and dirty like getting in foul trouble, but fight for their points, do everything right. Crichton is going to win this game.
Originally I had Tennessee winning this game. I'm going to trust your judgments because Crichton does have a slightly better offensive points per game than Tennessee has. Crichton is actually 3-2 versus top 25 teams. So, and of course Tennessee's 6-4. But Crichton's no joke to laugh at here. I think this is one of those other weird games. I think I understand Tennessee's a physical defensive team, but I
Hmm.
think Crichton, with them beating UConn, they've shown what they're capable of. Like I said, so watch for Crichton this tournament. I think you're right. Let's go with the upset here.
Like I said, let's if like I said, if they do get down and dirty and fight for their points and actually play physical defense um over Tennessee, I do believe Crichton's going to come out on top. Now we are going to stay in the Midwest, and we are in the Elite Eight, baby.
I knew you'd start with the Midwest. God damn it!
Well, we're already here, so might as well just go round the clock here. So now we're in the Elite Eight. Purdue versus Creighton. Who do you got?
Again, are we going to say Purdue makes to the Final Four?
I mean,
I mean, it's against Crichton.
both our personal brackets. I mean, we did have Purdue winning it all.
You are correct, JB. This Purdue team is different. I'm going
It
to
is
give us a
different.
little fact here. In 2018, Virginia lost to a 16 seed 2. They followed the next season up with a national championship.
Mm-hmm.
I think Purdue has a chance to do the same thing. I'm not going to reveal the future on what I think in the bracket, because that is for a couple minutes from now. However, Purdue, they're going to make it to the Final Four this year. They are a better team than Crichton. They have a better offense than Crichton does. 83 points a game to 80. 7-0 versus top 25 teams. Crichton has 2 losses, and their conference record is better. Crichton in their conference is 14-6. Purdue is 17-3. That just proves that we're not just picking Purdue in these games because of our team. They truly are, JB, the best team in the country. Purdue's going to the Final Four this year, my friend.
I do agree. Like you said, we this team is different than what last year was, and hopefully Matt Painter does not get himself over his head and screw it, because this is probably going to be the last chance that Purdue will be even get this far. I mean, who knows? We may not even be in the March Madness next year. Who knows? Where I am, hopefully, I'm not predicting the future, and hopefully, I am not right. But I am picking Purdue on this game to go to the Final Four. Now, we are going to the South. Who do you got? Houston or Kentucky?
I was hoping we would get this matchup because this is going to be a fun game.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky has a fiery offense. They average 89.4 points a game, JB. Like I said, my friend, they have one of the best offenses. And then you look at Houston's defense, that, like I said, 57 points a game allowed. It's literally great offense versus great defense. I want to see what comes of it. However, defense wins championships, not offense. Give me Houston. They're the 1 seed. They've been a powerhouse all season defensively, especially. But their offense is no joke, JB. Their offense they can score some points too. So with that, give me Houston. What do you think?
I
He's got a good
agree.
team. So
I agree with you. This is going to be a matchup for this generation. Um,
hopefully,
hopefully, hopefully this, like you said, this is the one of the best offense versus one of the best defense. Um, and Houston has the better defense with what you said, 59.
59 JB,
So yeah, with
59.
59, 59, that is outstanding. But yeah, I'm
No,
picking
57.
oh
57
57,
JB, 57.
57. So I mean that's still amazing.
Wow.
That's still amazing. 57 points allowed. That is ridiculous. Um, but yeah, I'm picking Houston on this one. Just with that killer defense. Now we are going to the East Side. Yukon. Did you just? Never mind. I just seen that in the corner of my eye. No, no. Yukon versus Illinois.
JB, what do you got? Well, you start this one out. I've started the last few. What do you got?
I'm picking Yukon. The defending champions. One of the best offense and one of the best defense. Um, I mean, there's literally like really nothing I can really talk about with Yukon. They've been on our bracket. They are dominating each team that they came across, and I do believe they're still going to dominate Illinois as well. I'm picking Yukon for this one.
I agree with you. Not only because of the defending national champions, and literally they've done it before, but I mean they are 7-2 against top 25 teams. Illinois is 1-4.
Yep.
Yeah, good luck against the defending champions with a 1-4 record against tough opponents.
Yep.
Illinois just isn't good enough against top 25 teams. Give me UConn.
I agree. And now we're going to West Side. North Carolina versus the upset of the West Side. New Mexico. Who do you got?
Me and you. People are going to say we're insane, but let me explain why we're not.
We are going to be insane, and I have 100. I'm not fully guaranteed, but New Mexico, they're doing everything right. If this is the team that could possibly go all the way, this is the team for New Mexico to win it all. But I'm picking New Mexico against North Carolina just because of one, they won against their conference championship. Like you said though, right? And they got
Yes.
they got killer offense and they got killer defense. What's their turnover rate? I forgot what their turnover rate is. I don't know if you
New Mexico's.
Yeah, I don't think you said the turnover rate for New Mexico.
No.
Okay. I don't know if you have that stat on hand, but
Not on hand currently, no.
okay. But I'm pretty sure it's fantastic. They probably barely turn over the ball. So prove me wrong in the comments down below. But we are picking New Mexico. I don't know if you're picking New Mexico. I'm picking New Mexico. What do you think?
I agree. I have, like I said, New Mexico. I am high on the Mountain West Conference. It's an underrated conference. Like I said, 6 teams in that conference made the tournament. The same as the Big Ten. So watch out for that conference. They're their conference champions. They're coming in hot. They're coming in on a good note. That's how it's kind of like the NFL, where you want to end the season stronger than you start it. The Dolphins have the opposite problem in the NFL of that. They start the season hot and they end flat, so they naturally lose in the playoffs. I'm telling you, New Mexico, I'm not picking all 4 1 seeds to make the Final Four. Oh, how original.
Oh yeah,
There's
this
always
is
that
March
surprise
Madness we're
team.
talking about here.
Bingo. There's always that weird team. This year it's New Mexico. Trust us. Trust me. Trust me.
Now, we are in the Final Four. Chandler, which side do you want? Do you want the South and Midwest?
South Midwest.
We're
Start with
we're
the South
going we're going we're starting off with Purdue versus Houston. Whew. Man, this is a tough matchup.
It's not to me. I understand that Houston only allows 57 points a game. Purdue averages 83 points a game, JB.
Mm-hmm.
Purdue has Zach Edey, who is averaging a double-double and is easily, in my opinion, anyone who with eyes can
Number
see that
one.
he's easily the number one pick in the NBA draft. He's
Oh,
been
yeah.
elite for years. He's the nation's best player. We have Braden Smith, like I said, who's one of the best passing guards in the country to create our offense on top of the best big man. Purdue has the best team in the country. We are going to follow that Virginia path and go to the national championship. We're going to do
Right.
what Virginia did.
You're
Purdue,
right.
there's no reason not
You're
to.
right.
Purdue has, look, I'll give you some more facts. On top of the fact that Houston has 2 losses against top 25 teams, Purdue has this many. None. They haven't lost to a single person top 25 this season. Purdue, this is the season, JB. Purdue is going to the national championship. What do you got? Do you disagree with me?
I do not disagree with you. Like I'll keep saying this. We have one of the best teams that we've ever developed, ever, and I mean ever. Okay, ever. So let's get that. I got that out of the way. Like you gave the stats. Zach Edey is back to back, the best player in college ever. Back to back. And we got Braden Smith, that's easily the best guard in for assist wise in all college. Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong, internet. Prove me wrong, YouTube. Let us know in the comments. But we are picking Purdue to the championship game.
Boiler up.
Boiler up and hammer down, baby. We're going to the championship. But now we're going to the east side and west side. Yukon versus New Mexico.
Every great run must
to an
come to
end.
an end.
Yes,
my
sir.
friend. While yes, I love the Mountain West Conference. I think it's the most underrated conference in college basketball. I am no fool. This bracket is truly what I think will happen. Truly. I don't pick Purdue to go to the tournament every year. But UConn, the defending champions, JB, against New Mexico. I understand they're going to be a great story, I think, and whatnot, but they're just way better than New
A great
Mexico is.
Cinderella story.
Yeah, they're a great Cinderella story, but yeah, I think UConn has an easy path to the national championship to at least get there this season. They're the best.
Agree.
They're one of the best teams. They're right up there with Purdue. I think Purdue and UConn are truly equal matches.
I do agree. But now, my friend, we are in the championship game, my friend, of March Madness. Purdue versus UConn, the defending champions of last year. Are we going to repeat what Virginia did? And I'm saying yes. 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 We are going to repeat what we said, Virginia? Yes.
Yes.
Virginia. We've repeated what Virginia did that one year. Purdue is winning it all, my friend. But on here, on the ncaa.com, I don't know unless you have something else in mind that you think UConn is going to win. Change my mind.
You know what? I'm looking here, JB. As powerful as UConn is, oh look, Purdue still averages 2 more points a game than UConn does. As powerful as UConn is, oh look, Purdue still has a better record versus top 25 teams. Purdue 7-0, UConn 7-2, my friend. The stats say it. Purdue's leading scorer, Zach Edey, 24 points a game. Tristan Newton, 15 points a game. All the signs say this Purdue team is different. I want to finish on this. Purdue wins the national championship. Matt Painter finally proves me wrong after decades of disappointment.
Of
And this is the
decades.
year we finally change the narrative that we are the Dallas Cowboys of college basketball. Not anymore. I'm tired of being the Cowboys of college basketball. I am sick of it. Purdue wins the entire thing this season. I'm not backing down. I'm not. Purdue is the best team. We are a better team, unbiasedly, in my opinion. My sports knowledge on the line. We are the best team in the country. The best team in the country.
The
There is no
best.
reason we lose. There is no reason we
There's
lose.
no reason.
Purdue
No
changes
reason
the
at
narrative.
all. If we do, if we do, it's going to be a massive joke for decades to come. My friend, if we lose any of these games, we're going to be the laughing stock for decades. But the NCAA.com will need a winner and loser score prediction. What do you think the score for the UConn and Purdue game is going to be? I'm thinking it'd be 82-76. What do you think?
I'm okay with 82-76. I think, obviously, both teams average around the low 80s for points per game. Both of these teams also have relatively respectable defenses. I'm good with that score.
All
Because
right.
if it comes down to an overtime game, I don't think Purdue wins. I don't think it's an overtime game. I
No,
truly just think Purdue's the best team in the country.
we do.
I think
I do.
if we win, it has to be by more than 2, because we won't win one possession games with Matt Painter. You know that.
Oh
So I don't
no.
think it's a one possession game though. I think Purdue's players put their best effort on the court. I think Purdue wins.
All right. So I'm going to click finish the bracket. And we choose Purdue to win it all this year.
Spoiler up!
And this, my friends, is the unbiased hard take March Madness bracket.
It's what you all have been waiting for and demanding. Apparently, we see the comments on our Facebook page. Again, the link will be in the description down below. People were calling for us to do a March Madness bracket, and that's what we have done. So check out me and JB's separate personal brackets. Also, though, this is
Facebook.
our main bracket. This is the unbiased hard takes
This is
March Madness bracket.
both of our minds come together to put out our bracket together.
That's right. But with that, that's all me and JB have for today's March Madness celebration spectacular. Woo! 4.0. Woo!
Woo!
JB, with that, what else you got for the people, my friend? College basketball is ramped up. We are here. March Madness is here.
Well, like you've seen, we did what the people want. We are I wouldn't say we are a people pleaser podcast, but we do it for the people. This is what the people want, and this is what we will give you, even if it's not the right one. But we don't care, because this is the unbiased hard take. Woo! And also, I'm going to point out here the Cleveland. We're going back to the NFL for just a quick second for me. The Cleveland Browns extended Judy's contract, a mid-tier receiver, to a max contract of, I think it's $35 million contract. Once again, the Cleveland Browns gave a mediocre person a max deal contract. I don't know what is with Cleveland. Something's in that water, and it is not right, my friends. They're doing something, and it's not right. Honestly, to me, Judy should not be being paid that much for a mediocre season that especially what he had last year. I'm sorry, but he was terrible last year, and he does not deserve over a $30 million 3-year contract. So that's all I got, but something's in that water, and something I do not want to drink, my friend.
There definitely is something weird going on in Cleveland because look at the quarterbacks they've signed. Jameis Winston and Huntley, the old Ravens backup quarterback, who made a Pro Bowl a few years ago.
Yep.
Those are really, really good backup quarterbacks. Why is that? Maybe it's because they know Deshaun Watson isn't fully committed.
Nope. Like he was last year.
That's all I'll say about Bingo with his injury. But that's where I'll leave the NFL. I'm going to end on a basketball note here because it is basketball season. The Miami Heat are fighting for a play-in spot. Had a couple wins against the Pistons, lost to the Sixers. So we're in the 8th seed right now. We're getting ready to ramp up NBA playoff action as well. College basketball, March Madness is here. This is a great time in sports. March Madness, NBA playoffs coming. Great time in sports. Happy to see it. Let us know in the comments below what you think of our brackets. Let us know your thoughts.
Wait. Graham and Montana State?
Montana State.
They're in overtime. 72-72. End of second half. So, there we have it. We don't even know who we're going to get after this podcast. It is in overtime. So, like I said, regardless of who we play, we're winning it all. But that is all we have for today's Unbiased Hard Take. Once again, boiler up. Let's go Heat. Let's go Pittsburgh Steelers. We're a few pieces away to winning it all this year, in my opinion. But that's all
I will add is like, subscribe, hit that bell, like us on Facebook. We have a lot of Facebook people who are following on the 70s with likes. So if you're on the Facebook side of things, get us on YouTube as well. Subscribe on YouTube. If you're on the YouTube side, get on our Facebook. Check us out. With that, sports fact of the day. As always, until next time, go Pack Go. Let's go Heat, but most importantly in this time of the year, boiler up, baby.
See y'all next week.
See y'all next week.